Hi, I'm Dennis Oakes,
And I'm Connie.
and we have been attending First Free since the spring of 2021, and we were very comfortable with the service, with the greeting that we received, and we decided to make it our home.
And it felt very warm and very welcoming, and I just immediately knew that this was the place God wanted me to be.
One of the distinctive values of First Free Church is community is core, which builds around the idea of groups. Since we were new to the church, we thought we'd get in kind of the ground level, which we considered to be the Connections group. And we were greeters and coffee makers and welcome desk volunteers.
I found my home in the women's Bible study on Tuesday mornings, and I attended those studies and loved that opportunity to grow in my faith and to meet new women friends.
I think for me, belonging to a group was really beneficial in strengthening my faith, finding Christian fellowship, and having support during difficult times.
I find in groups that through the serving together and the studying together and worshiping together, I find that God speaks to me through them, in addition through Scripture and the sermon messages and the Bible studies, but I find that He speaks to me through the other believers, and it gives me an opportunity to not feel so alone. So group and community of believers is important to me. It's the way God wired us. It's the way He intended us to be, to live in community, to live alongside believers. And the Bible tells us to do that we need to encourage each other, motivate each other, love each other, help, support, encourage. Jesus led that example. He had friends. He had community. I heard somewhere along the line that believers who aren't active in a Christian community are unhealthy Christians, and I try hard enough to be healthy physically or whatever. I certainly don't want to be unhealthy, and I want to be more like the example Jesus has set.
One of the most vivid and striking memories I have of group support is in January of 2023, Connie was diagnosed with a subdural hematoma, a brain bleed. And it was, it's a very striking thing to have happen to you, to have such a sudden onset of such a serious issue. And so after getting established in the hospital, in the ICU, I called a number of people, but many of them were members or leaders of the groups that I'm in, or that we're both in, or that Connie's in. And within probably an hour or so after calling them, we started having people drop by. We started getting text messages and emails about just prayers and support. One person said, "I don't know how close you live to the hospital, but if you need lodging, you can come and stay at our house." It's hard to describe, because it was just a palpable feeling of support from all these people, and then I know the prayers were answered, because when the procedure was done that was ultimately given to Connie, they did a CAT scan, and the neurosurgeon even said, "Wow, I didn't think it would be this good." So thank you everyone for the prayers that you had, but it didn't stop there. When we came home, people came to the door with food, lots of food, and there were lots of prayers, there were lots of cards, a lot of well wishes, and it's just hard to describe the magnitude of support that we got from the groups that we're in. And I think you felt that too.
Absolutely. My Monday group that I'm with, the procedure that I had on my brain was that Monday morning, and they had a prayer service that Monday for me, and they had written out written prayers. I'm just amazed how God worked in our lives 2 years prior to put us where we needed to be, to put us in a group of people that we needed to be with, to be around us at the time we were going to need them during this crisis. His plan is perfect, and He loves us and wants what's best for us, and He's there for us, and He uses other believers for that. I think being in these groups, for all of the ones, whether it's a growth Bible study group or a service group, my maturity and my faith has grown, and I'm certain more so than it ever would, because I tried on my own for a number of years, not active in a church, not surrounded by believers. And because that's the way Christ, or the way God intended for us to be living in community, the enemy tries to pull us out of that. And so when I stray and I wasn't close to the church, then I wasn't growing and I was backsliding. And since we've been here in just even these few years, my spiritual growth has grown. My prayer life has deepened. I've developed good friends, close friends that share that same foundational goal in life to serve God and believe God. And there's just a greater peace and joy that I don't think I would have ever experienced otherwise.
I also feel like I've been on a much firmer faith journey, that I'm growing in my faith. So if there's someone who's looking for a group, they're new to First Free, or maybe not new, but just haven't been in a group and would like to, the easiest way, or the quickest way to do it, is to visit the church's website. All the groups are on there. There's a description about the group. It'll tell you who the group leader is. You can contact the group leader.
If one Sunday group doesn't seem to work, try another one, that's okay. Also like to say, on the flip side, we were invited often by someone. For instance, when Ann and Frank were so warm to us at the welcoming desk, and then when Terry at the Connections Breakfast invited us to Faith Builder. So if you are in a group and you sit near someone on Sundays or run across them, invite them to join you. We are blessed in so many ways when we are in this community with other people, and to see how God puts us all together.
You're in one group, it opens the door to another group. It opens the door to another group, and it keeps opening doors. Connections opened a door to the Faith Builders, which opened a door to Rooted, which opened a door to Workday, they just keep opening doors. So it's interesting, if you get into a group, you may just keep getting open doors. And I'm still in my Connections group. I'm a greeter at the West Door at 9 o'clock on the first Sunday of every month. So stop by and see me. I'll open the door for you.